Just build the wall. This was one of the chants that was often heard at Donald Trump rallies during the recent presidential election. The issue of immigration was extremely controversial and continues to be in this country's politics. There are many people who believe on one side that immigration is a net negative. There are many other people who believe that it's a net positive. In this speech, I'm going to outline some of the reasons why immigration is a positive for this country, and it's something that we should support within this country's political system. The first reason to support it is because of the cultural heritage and the cultural benefits that immigration brings. If you simply look at food, food is something that has been greatly impacted by immigration in our country. You can't go to any town or city in the United States anymore without seeing many different kinds of restaurants. Every small town in America has a Chinese restaurant or Chinese buffet where you can go in and eat a variety of Chinese foods. All you need to do is drive through the drive-thru at Taco Bell or various Mexican-derived restaurants, and you can find all kinds of Mexican food. There are all kinds of fancy dining options in many of our larger cities that come from places like Italy and Ethiopia and other countries. Without immigration, we would not have many of these wonderful eating options in many of our towns and cities. Immigration also creates all kinds of employment possibilities for people. Many new immigrants are very entrepreneurial. We see many millions of new businesses every year created by immigrants who have entered this country from other places. They either become naturalized or work under long-term visa permits, and this allows them to create jobs for many American citizens. Oftentimes, jobs are done by immigrants that would never be done by native residents of this country. In Southwest Michigan, for example, which is my home state, there are many people who are involved in the apple production and apple harvesting process, which are jobs that are oftentimes filled by immigrants who come to this country. We also oftentimes have migrant laborers who come to our area to help to harvest crops. Farmers in our country would have a very difficult time harvesting everything that they sell to international and domestic markets without the role of immigrant labor and migrant labor as people come into this country. Obviously, those jobs are not always the most high paying, but these can help to transition families into positions of stability in United States towns and cities. In my town, we have a very large Mexican American population, and in fact, the church that I attend, St. Mary's, has a very large population of Mexican immigrants as well. These are fantastic people with really great families. Many of the schools in our area have populations and residents and students that come from these wonderful Mexican families. And this has been a net positive for the community. This is Michigan, and we've had a very strong outflow of people during the last several decades. And one of the few places where immigration has increased is through this Mexican immigration to our area. It's been really good for our town. This has benefits for the economy as a whole. This morning on CNN, Fareed Zakaria, who is a deep thinker about immigration issues, brought up the issue that without immigration to our country over the past several decades, our percentage growth rate economically would be the same as European countries like England, Great Britain. It would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 5%. But with immigration, it's been well over the 10 to 15% range. And so we have a lot of economic activity that derives from immigration to this country. In fact, it's one of the reasons why we don't have a stagnant population growth rate, that in fact we are growing. And generally speaking, economists will agree that if you have a growing population, that you have more people who are willing to buy things or willing to start jobs, who are willing to start companies, and it's a net positive for the economy as a whole. So without immigrants, our economy would not grow as much as it has. The role of immigration also helps us to connect better with other countries. This is an international and global economy now. We need good relationships with other countries, places like China and Russia and other places. We have better relationships with these people, and we can understand these countries better if we do have immigrants who also understand these cultures and who speak the language and are able to contact friends and families and businesses and things in these other countries as well. So this helps to create greater ties that we have with other countries, which helps to do things like avoid war and avoid famine and other difficulties that we might otherwise encounter. So I would encourage you to explore the issue of immigration in terms of economic growth and in terms of cultural resources and in terms to ties and connections to other countries, immigration is a net positive. And I would encourage you to look at the facts and encourage you to support immigration in this country. Thank you.